Bitch is a Bad Word podcast is for informational purposes only and reflects the opinions of the host and guests. It contains explicit content and discusses sensitive topics such as domestic abuse, sexual assault, and violence, which may be distressing to some listeners. Please take care of your emotional well-being while listening. While we strive for accuracy, we make no warranties about the completeness or reliability of the information, and any reliance on it is at your own risk. We do not endorse third-party views and are not liable for any defamatory claims. Listeners should conduct their own research and consult professionals before making decisions. If you or someone you know is in danger, please call 911 or contact the National Domestic Abuse Hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 800-799-7233 or text START, S-T-A-R-T, to 88788. We've got your back, besties. Caliber Studios has not independently verified the information you're about to hear. Welcome back to this episode of Bitch is a Bad Word. We have your new BFF joining us, Dr. Z. Welcome to Bitch is a Bad Word.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I am so excited about this chat. I follow you on Instagram, I guess like all of us do. And that's how we find all of our besties and our friends. But your information that you give out is, I do feel like you obviously you have all the letters behind your name, but you have this like big cis energy that I really love. Oh. And you break it down to a relatable component. And I feel like the people that listen to this show, if they're like me, I don't have the letters behind my name. I didn't understand what I was in. You are Googling, like, is this a toxic relationship? Is this abusive? Is this, because you're like with it, you're not like sharing these things with people.
Right.
So you're very isolated in your own head. So reaching out and looking for things, trying to find those, like, please let them not be red flags, but they're red flags. So listening to you, how you break it down, how you share, I think is just like so our BFS style. So
thank you. I appreciate
it. I love
that.
it.
It's one of the heavier topics I can think of in mental health that's been under the radar for so long. And because it's so heavy and because it's so damaging and because it's so complex, when people's heads are filled with fear and confusion and they've been gaslight, it's like you can only take in so much information. And I only have 8 seconds to get somebody to get the information that I'm giving them. So I find that if you break it down into very small, tiny fundamental pieces, I'd rather people build the framework of understanding it and then go deeper rather than hear it and just be even more overwhelmed and consumed. And to be honest, you say the letters after my name, but I joke about this, but there's a part of me that really means this. When you go through a narcissistic abusive relationship and you come out on the other end, you earn your doctorate in narcissism, because survivor stories, I always say the survivor stories are sometimes not to guide treatment, but they are an integral part of the healing process, hands down. And they do so much more than so many other things that people think work. So for people listening who have been through this, you kind of get your honorary degree from going through it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. I always say that I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And I am now a valedictorian.
Yes.
Because it's like, and it's not like the badge I really want to wear, but this is the reality.
Yeah.
And this is unfortunately the reality of so many people. Yes. I love that you say it's under the radar. It's a total, like, I feel like it's coming, probably you would know this more than any of us. It's getting more attention than it has before, thank God.
I think that really came about during COVID, my opinion, because it was out there. But I think during COVID, social media too, but during COVID, especially because that's when everyone was stuck at home with their abusers. And all they had for support was online. And so these communities started blowing up online because they couldn't go anywhere. And the abuse rates were going through the roof.
I would say 2020 was my worst year ever.
Yeah. I mean, even
And
my best friend pulled in as soon as they said there was lockdown in Pennsylvania. My best friend pulled into my driveway. She said, "Get in. I can't be stuck at home with him. I need to find an apartment." Honest to God, I mean, this is what happened. So I think that it was during that time that it was there, but then it started really coming out. I mean, there are always people talking about it, but I think that's when it became such a buzzword, which was good and bad.
mhm, that's true. And well, and if you're locked in anywhere with somebody who's abusive or toxic, it's like, I can't imagine. I mean, I experienced it, but it's, most people are like, I cannot wait till they go to work. I can't wait till they
Yes,
go on
yes,
vacation.
right,
Not, don't go on vacation with them because that fucking
correct.
sucks.
That's right,
But I
exactly.
can't wait for them to go on
Yes,
vacation and leave
exactly.
us alone.
Yes.
So people are stuck in COVID. They're stuck in lockdown. It's like 24/7. Everybody's stressed out. The consumption of just everything is extra.
Financial problems, substance abuse is going up. People are dying. I mean, it was just like it was just a it was just a storm of it was just a shit storm. I don't know how else to say it, and it was just bad. It was really bad.
So, so bad. So you've got these people that are, they're living in a situation where they don't know what they're in. And this is where I like to talk about it to our listeners. It's like, if this is your first day and you know that whatever relationship you're in does not feel right, you're comparing it to other relationships, which you shouldn't do. But when you're in a very unhealthy relationship, even like the most basic
Sure.
relationship seems like a dream.
Sure.
And then you're going to the internet to find the solution. So most people would say to you, well, why don't you try therapy? Is therapy, and that sounds like a magical place to go to like sort
Hmm.
all this shit out. And like,
Yeah.
we need a safe place to drop it off and come back and like, and use the tools we were given.
Hmm.
Talk about therapy with a narcissist or therapy with an abusive person. How does that
Yes.
work?
So I'll talk about therapy with an abusive person that is not a narcissistic abuser, because there's a difference. So anybody who is in an abusive relationship, or who thinks they're in an abusive relationship, or isn't sure if they're in an abusive relationship, should, if they can, be in individual therapy. Period. That goes without saying. But for couples therapy, there are certain situations where I think couples therapy in an abusive relationship can work. Um, the first is, let's say somebody has a substance abuse problem. And when they're using, and I'm not giving, this does not mean the abuse is acceptable by any means. When they're using, they go into rages, or they make really stupid decisions, and they throw things in the house. And when they're sober, it's a totally different situation. And they've been using this coping strategy forever. And so somebody goes to rehab, they get sober, they're not using, they haven't used for a year, they want to work on their relationships, they don't want to hurt the person that they love. They are devastated with the harm they have caused. They're devastated with the path of destruction that they have left. And you go to couples therapy with them, and they're willing to do the work, they accept accountability, they have remorse. That is perfectly okay. I think that can really work, right? The other time I think couples therapy works in a toxic relationship is sometimes people develop toxic relational patterns from their upbringing, right? Like, we all learn bad crap from our upbringing, right? So let's say somebody grows up in an environment where, if you talked about how you were feeling, you were told you were weak, shut up, your emotions were supposed to be suppressed, nobody listened to you, you keep it to yourself, nobody cares. And so you act that way in childhood because it works for you. It gets you through childhood. It's almost like kind of a survival thing. You get into adulthood, you try to get into these relationships, and now you are emotionally stunted in a sense. You are emotionally closed off. You don't know how to be emotionally available for somebody else. And so the other person is looking at you as selfish and not attentive. And all you do is care about your needs. You don't ask about my needs. On the surface, that could easily be part of a narcissistic abusive pattern. However, that person let's say they're not a narcissist, engages in those unhealthy patterns because they always have. But when brought to their attention, not saying it's easy, but when brought to their attention and they have the insight and the awareness and they're kind of like, wait, oh no, I don't want to do, I don't realize, oh my God, that's like what my mother did. Or, oh my God, I didn't realize I was doing that. Or I'm so used to being that way that it's just habitual at this point. I don't want to hurt you. And that's when couples therapy can help as well. When couples therapy does not work and will never work is when you are with somebody or a family member and you want to go to family therapy with somebody who is a narcissistic abuser. And here's why. Number one, they have absolutely zero intention of changing unless that change benefits them in some way. When the benefit is over, they will resort back to who they were. They do not feel there is anything wrong with their behaviors. They don't care if what they're doing causes you harm as long as it gets them what they need. That's your problem if it causes you harm. They will never compromise with you unless it benefits them. So when you go into couples therapy with somebody who doesn't acknowledge or is not aware that the other person's a narcissist, that narcissist is going to do a damn good job of charming the therapist. There's a couple scenarios that happen. They'll charm the therapist. It will end up being, you are the one with the problem. You aren't communicating well. Look, it looks like he really wants to make things work and go on date night with you and go on vacation. And he's asking you, but you're saying no. That's not really showing me that you're trying. Meanwhile, going on vacation with the narcissist is something you would rather walk on fire before you go on vacation with them. Or they say, have a romantic evening. You're like, romantic evening? You've been sexually coerced every single night for the last 6 years of your marriage. So it re-traumatizes the survivor. It invalidates everything that they're feeling. It's constant gaslighting. And then, because of the danger that's involved, are you really going to speak your truth in a situation where you're going to get shot down anyway? And then you have to drive home with the narcissist after spilling, everything that's going on. You're going to drive home with an angry narcissist in the car. And then you're going to go home and put your head on the pillow in the same bed. It's never going to happen. You'll shut down. You won't say a word. And it just re-traumatizes you. I never recommend couples therapy for any of my clients.
So is the narcissist...
That was a very long-winded answer, but sorry.
No, that was it was a very vivid answer. It was perfect. I could absolutely see, walk through the steps of sitting with somebody and, a couple things popped up in my head as I'm listening, and which I think is important. If there's a difference, right? Where I don't know. There's a difference between a toxic person. There's a difference between an abusive person, and there's a difference between a narcissistic person and then a narcissistic abusive person.
All narcissists.
Okay.
So when I say narcissist, I mean someone with narcissistic personality disorder. So
okay, and that is a clinical diagnosis.
Yes.
Okay.
A narcissist is a narcissist all the time. It's not just someone who's an asshole to you. It's not just someone that's an asshole to everyone. There's so many layers to it. So someone who is a narcissist is always toxic, is always abusive, even when they're being kind to you because there's a motive behind it. Okay. Somebody who's toxic, but not a narcissist, is somebody that has really unhealthy behavior patterns, hurtful behavior patterns, maybe substance abuse, self-sabotaging, whatever. But they are like that because it's all they know. And when brought to their attention, even though it's really hard to change longstanding patterns, we know this, they don't want to hurt other people. Their intention is different than a narcissist. Their intention is not to hurt people. Their intention is they're just really scared to be any other way because this is all they know. So they'd have to give up their entire behavioral repertoire, so to speak, and figure out how to redo things. And that's scary.
And then you have... I found it interesting. We hear the word abuse and everybody's immediately recoiled and what? So you're telling me I can go to therapy with an abusive person and that could be successful?
So here's the other piece is that this is not a diagnostic answer. But when I say abusive, I'm talking more about toxic relationship patterns. If we're talking about sexual abuse, physical abuse, in order to engage in those behaviors with the results of those behaviors, and you continuously keep doing them, find it hard to believe that you are not a narcissist. I would have a really hard time making that argument. I'm sure there's clinicians listening to me saying that's not the case, but in my opinion, if you're going to punch your wife in their face, I mean, that's part of a larger picture, The only time, and people may disagree with me on this, is if it's completely 100% substance induced. And when you are completely sober, that the brain chemistry and all of that shifts. And I'm not saying you excuse it by any means, and I'm not saying stay either. I'm just saying that sometimes the behaviors can be a direct result of substance abuse.
Hi, I'm Sarah Wayne Callies, and I played Dr. Sarah Tancredi on Prison Break.
And I'm Paul Edelstein, and I played Agent Paul Kellerman on Prison Break. Please join us on our rewatch podcast, Prison Breaking, with Sarah and Paul.
We're going to have all kinds of guests and never-before-told stories, so follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can subscribe to our watch party on the link there. We can't wait to see you there.
And follow us on Instagram at Prison Break Podcast. See you there.
We're going to probably say to somebody, the person who just closed fist punched you in the face needs a lot of fucking help, and you don't need to stick around while they are getting that help.
That's right. And you also don't need to go back once they're sober, because, then it begs the question, okay, well, why are they using? And so once they stop using, if they don't have the skills to navigate that, what is that energy going to shift to next? So what I say to people is, if the behaviors themselves are abusive, if you think that, well, I'm only going to leave if I can really nail it down that it's a narcissist. Almost like if it's not a narcissist, it's okay to stay because it's not that bad. It is that bad. Someone punches you in the face, drunk or sober, if you can get out, you get out. Because I can't guarantee that when they're sober that those behaviors will or won't continue. And even if they don't continue, that's still something traumatic that happened in your relationship that you're going to have to somehow figure out how to sit with during. And you may always wonder, what if they drink again? Or what if it gets worse? So, I think that when you escalate to physical abuse and to sexual abuse, I'm not saying it's only because of the substance use. I'm just saying that you may see a decrease in the behavior when they get sober, but there's a much larger picture to that.
It kind of feels like you're just sort of sweeping the behavior under the rug for a little while.
Yes, exactly. But again, not all people who abuse substances are narcissists, was my point of that.
Right. Okay. So we're going to let's talk about, you've identified in some way through all of your Googling or listening to a show like this or listening to Dr. Z that you are 100% convinced, or let's say very convinced, you are with a narcissist. When you go to therapy with them, because it's, in my experience, like their idea is like, go to therapy,
they'll pick the therapist.
And I was told that when you said, oh, they can't communicate, I can't even tell you how many times, like, you're just a poor communicator. You can't communicate.
Yes.
And I really felt for a long time, like it's me. Okay. Yes. It is me. So I'm going to go. What happens though is like, you go to therapy with somebody who is a narcissist, and you're sharing the intimate details of your relationship with the narcissist. Aren't they full of shame? So are you just shaming them in front of like a public person, or like, is it a shame-based dysfunction, or they don't give a shit? They're just like pissed at you. Like, I can't believe you.
Well, there's a couple things. One, they're not feeling shame because you're giving them what they want. You're giving them a reaction. Couples therapy with a narcissist is a stage.
Oh.
Just like family court with a narcissist, it's a stage, it's a platform. So what really, I don't know if you heard this. I know it's off topic, but it's goes in line with what I'm saying. Brian Kohlberger, the court case, the Ohio murders. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you listening, one of the sisters of one of the girls that was murdered gave her impact statement to Brian Kohlberger.
I have chills because that was like,
I'm going to do a whole post on it.
okay.
And I remember thinking, and this goes with the shame thing, I hope to God their impact statements don't talk about how he took their love away from their life, how they ruined his life, how they had such a life ahead of them, and all the things that are true, because he's going to freaking love that. What this girl's impact statement was, oh my God, it was, you're not important. You did all this and you're still a nobody. No one's going to remember you. Like, basically hit on every narcissistic injury she could. And so where you're talking about where you're going to talk about all these things in therapy, like the hurt that they're causing you and the shame and how you want it to be better and all of these emotional things and how you're angry and upset, that's what they want. Those are the reactions they want. They've made you come to this place, to therapy, making you think this is your fault. They're not feeling shame. They're getting everything they want. So the best thing to do if you are going to go couples therapy is give them nothing. You need to be the most boring person in that room.
Because it's all about, what's the S word? The supply. So that's what you're sitting, like your breakdown. Like, what the hell does supply mean?
Yeah.
To someone first day?
So supply is anything that you give to the narcissist that fills them up. So it could be an emotional reaction. It could be a behavior change they made you initiate. It could be you crying. It could be you screaming. It could be them getting you a $300,000 watch and you being so happy and showing it to all your friends. It could be them telling you you're fat and disgusting and you crying. It's any type of response that they themselves deliberately have caused a shift in you in some way, and they've taken control over you, whether it's your emotions, your thoughts, whatever. So supply is anything that the narcissist gets from you that gives them a sense of control and power and dominance over you. So the visual I give people is, if you think of a narcissist as a car, it goes to one gas pump, it just pumps you dry, or leaves a little bit in there and then goes to another gas pump, fills that up, and then when that's out, goes back to yours, see if they filled it up anymore, take what's up. So it's everybody's an object, and supply is what they can get from those objects.
So a healthy person gives you a $300,000 watch. You're excited that you received the gift, and they are feeling neutral. Like they're not trying to control you. They're happy that you're happy.
They're showing you how much they appreciate you. They're showing you they love you. They want to see you happy. Maybe they love giving gifts. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But a narcissist would, I'm going to give you this watch. You're going to show all your friends. They're going to be like, oh my God, he's an amazing, or she's an amazing partner. Look what you got. Why can't you get me that? And then every time you look at your wrist, you're going to think of them. They made you happy with getting this. That's an emotion they created for you. And how are you going to you're going to go out with your friends tonight? I got you a $300,000 watch. So then it becomes a control mechanism as well.
Oh yeah. And if you have any experience getting a gift from a narcissist, that's the first thing they kind of like to take away from you.
Yes.
When they feel like, I guess what I'm hearing is they're losing control.
That's right.
Or just to dominate you.
Just to dominate you, and to know that whatever I give you, I can take away. Nothing is yours. It's all mine. Gifts are tricky with narcissists because sometimes they'll deliberately not give you one, or they'll give you something that they know you already have, or they'll give you something they know you don't want or you're not interested in. Like, they'll take you on vacation to, I don't know, Alaska, when they know that you have a medical condition where you don't like being cold, right? And then you'll complain, but then they'll call you ungrateful. So, there's always, the difference is there's always an underlying motive of power and control. It's called coercive control, coercively controlling behaviors. So there's always an underlying function to what they do. Always.
Okay. So like gift giving, for example, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
So let's talk about, cause I have no experience to like before this, every gift I was ever given by a narcissistic person was grandiose, was, or like you said, like here's the most basic gift, like on a big holiday.
Yes.
And like here's a computer. Like what?
Yes.
This is I can go get a computer or like whatever.
Yeah.
And so is it, and I always talk about this a lot, like don't try to have a birthday with a narcissist, don't try to have Christmas, Hanukkah, Easter, vacation. I like there's so many places in this world that I never want to go back to.
Yes.
And then, but like back to the gift giving, a healthy person, because then people are like, well, what's a healthy gift? So what would that look like if you're listening now being like, my partner gives these gifts?
I don't think it's the gift that matters. The gift is the superficial piece. It's not the gift.
Okay.
It's the function behind the gift. Why are they giving you this particular gift in this particular context? Like it's the underlying purpose of it. If they're giving you something that you could easily buy yourself when they know you wanted something else, like a computer. Not saying a computer's not a nice gift, but if we're talking about a narcissist, right?
Right.
And they know that you easily can get one and it's not something you wanted nor something you need. One, it's if you say something, you're ungrateful. Two, they may get you the computer that they know you don't like the brand of because then you're ungrateful. Or it's a way to let you know in a very manipulative way, I don't really think you're important or your birthday is important. So here's just a whatever gift. This is kind of, you're kind of a nobody. You're irrelevant to me.
Mm-hmm. Or a gift they can use themselves.
Or a
here's
gift they
a grill,
can use themselves.
or here's a cooler.
Yep. And also, I know this sounds crazy, but you got to be careful when narcissists give you electronics of any kind.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Phone, computer, Ring doorbell. I don't care what it is, because I know this sounds crazy, but a lot of times they'll track cars to tracking devices, or they'll have ways that they can get into your computer to read your messages and your passwords and all of that. So there's always an underlying purpose to what they give you. Always.
Yeah. I like to talk about that, besties, like for real, the tracking is real.
And
it's
not because they care what you're doing. They just want you to know that your life is not yours, that they're controlling everything that you're doing. That's
so fucked up, because it's like you're sitting there with somebody. Like, I want people in my life to have their own life. I want you to have, make your own decisions. I don't need to know where you are 24/7. And it doesn't mean that I don't care. I just, there's a nice little trust factor in a partnership where you're like, oh, I'll see you later tonight. And we don't need to check in like 900 times in a day. Or I'm on my way home and your plans change and you're not on your way home.
But
like,
they don't
whatever.
they don't do it because they don't trust you.
Oh,
that's not why they do it. They do it to let you know that they're constantly in control of you. They know where you are at all times. It's not because they don't trust you.
That is fascinating. I just healed a part of my soul.
They may say, I know. They may say, I did it because I don't trust you. They of course may say that. And listen, some of them can be paranoid at times when they get really angry. But most of it is when they're tracking you, it's just they want you to know that you're always being watched, so your life is not your own.
Oh my God. Like I'm having like a duh moment. So that brings us back to this power word, this hot topic word of coercive control. Cause again, like a first day, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yes.
That is part of that web.
Yes. So coercive control it's always been there, but there's a lot of therapists who are really kind of taking the lead on this and really pushing it in bite-sized pieces, kind of like what I do for the masses. And I can give you the Instagram handle so you can put their names in the show notes because they're excellent. So coercive control is the underlying principle of all abusive behaviors. Coercive control is a pattern, and I stress pattern, it's not a one-time occurrence, a pattern of manipulative behaviors with the sole purpose of gaining control and dominance over another person. So coercive control is the purpose. The vehicle in which people use it to get control can be physical abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, even things like sex trafficking. It's like the hallmark underpinnings of so many relationship situations where someone's being oppressed. So it's a pattern, a deliberate pattern of controlling behaviors with the sole purpose to gain power over somebody else. And so it is the hallmark of all abusive behaviors, all of them. The abusive behavior, like physical abuse and mental and emotional abuse and sexual abuse and financial abuse, legal abuse are the tactics that are being used to deliver coercive control.
Okay. So when you're saying tactics, does that mean that this person kind of has to level up, level up their control tactics when they don't seem to be working anymore? For example, like if they're just sort of verbally abusive to you, they just sort of like say some bad things and like you just get immune to it and you stop reacting.
Yes.
Is it guaranteed almost they're going to level up if you stay?
Yes. They're going to escalate. So usually in narcissistic abusive relationships, it starts with more kind of emotional control or emotional abuse, psychological abuse, because those are the trickier ones because it's hard to identify, like, oh, I'm just kidding, just relax, right? Or that's not what I meant. Like, so it's easy to hide those and it's easy to get away with them. But when that stops working, and like you said, you either become numb to it or you're not giving the narcissist the response that they want anymore. Now you're giving a more neutral, benign, numb response. So they're not getting that same supply. Now they're going to up it. So that's when you may see things like hiding your phone or your keys on purpose and then calling you dumb and stupid and forgetful and those kinds of tactics. And when that stuff stops working, then it can escalate to punching walls, punching tables, slamming on brakes before the light turns red, like that kind of stuff to scare you. When that stops working, then it escalates to physical abuse. Once they start punching holes in the walls, that's basically saying, this is what I'm going to do to you. There may be more physical threats of violence. So it does escalate the longer you stay, absolutely. And not because it's like the natural progression, it's because the narcissist isn't getting the supply they're getting anymore. So they up it. And we
have to remember they're like the feeding the beast. So that yes. I'm trying, like if
that's
I want
somebody in her impact
like,
statement. That's what she said in her impact statement. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Shit. Okay.
I will say this, and this is the part that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And this is not clinical. This is purely anecdotal, just what I think. And I hate it that I even think this, but the goal of the narcissist is to break you down until there is nothing left of you as far as your self-identity and your self-esteem. And you are a shell of who you once were and you have no way back to it. Like that's their ultimate goal. So if you think about it, if you stay, what is the absolute ultimate goal, would you think, of a narcissist? The end of the day, at the end of the line, what do you think their ultimate goal is?
Full compliance, just like full power for like you're just a talking head. You're just there to,
which translates in real life into what? Totally not existing anymore.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Which
exactly.
is why the suicide rate for people in narcissistic abusive relationships is so high. The ultimate goal of the narcissist is to make you disappear.
Shit.
Yeah. So
and they would want to make you disappear all the way down to like, I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to say it to somebody listening. Would they get a supply if you killed, like unalived yourself?
Yes. They had that much
Wow.
power over you that they made you take your life. Now, this doesn't happen in every relationship, but when it does, that's a big part of it. And I hate saying it because it makes me sick. But they feel it's their only way out. They literally feel it's their only way out. They're that trapped that that's their only way out. It's almost like they feel like they're taking their power and control back in a weird way. Now, again, this is
of course,
rare
if
that
somebody
this
is
happens,
taking, yeah, but I don't know that, is it like, I mean, I thought abuse was rare, but like, since the Bitch is a Bad Word show came out, it's not that rare.
It's just something to keep in mind. I like to tell people. It's something to keep in mind because a lot of times they just become so unbelievably anxious and depressed in these relationships that it's just they feel it's their only way out. I mean, then that's why people would do that regardless. But with a narcissist in their mind, I mean, that is really the ultimate goal, is to just completely take ownership of somebody else.
And this is even sicker and more twisted, but like when that happens, they now get to be the ultimate victim. And then you're not there to defend your story, so they can say whatever the hell they want to. Right. And then it validates, like, I told you all she was crazy. Look at what she did.
Yep, that's right. That's exactly right.
And fuck. So if you're listening and you're in this situation and you're in your closet and you're listening to this, or you're in your car and you're crying and it speaks to you, listen to what Dr. Z is saying and know that your life is worth it and more than anything. And I want to say also, what do you think that the chances are that the person that's listening who's feeling like they're at the end of their options were at one point a strong, capable, intelligent?
They all were. And that's the misconception. There's a misconception that narcissists go for weak, passive, people-pleasing type people. Now, that's not true. Who they go for and who they're drawn to are successful, independent, strong, opinionated, really kind of have their head on their shoulders type people. And the reason for that is, one, they want to share the limelight with them because whatever they have, they want. They are lacking in all of the qualities in this other person, and they want to take those qualities away from that person because they want them. And so they will slowly over time, drip by drip, start peeling away your sense of self and taking these things away from you in such an insidious, subtle way. And when we see, and also because these people are, they're go-getters and they're fixers because they get their shit done. Now they're with somebody that really kind of needs fixing and help. And so because that's their nature, it's different than people pleasing. Because it's their nature to just handle it, they think they can just handle this, right? But they can't. And so the narcissist strips them down. And so by the time other people see this person, now they have low self-esteem. Their self-identity is completely gone. Their concentration's gone. Their mood, their ability to perceive reality is off. So it's important to look at who these people were prior to, because they were not weak people at all.
No, and that's like, when I think of a narcissist, male or female, I think of Ursula, and I just giant, like, give me your voice, and like, I just, whatever I have to do with all my tentacles, and I'm like taking you over, and just give me your fucking voice.
Yes.
That's what they want. They want to strip you of your voice. They want to strip you of all of your autonomy,
your soul.
I hear this topic a lot, like a single married woman.
Yeah.
And if you're a single married woman, most likely, would you say you're with a narcissist?
I would say that if you are married to a narcissist, you're definitely a single mother, or father, but not the other way around. You could be a single mother of a children because your spouse, I don't know, has an illness, or your spouse is totally stressed with work, or they're working 10 shifts to cut. So I can't say it's always, but I will tell you that if you are married to a narcissist, that parent, the healthy parent, is always a single parent, always.
And it's like the same. So it's like, And remembering that if you're in this relationship, your relationship escalated very quickly. So it's, again, like I want to try to just get like into someone's ear who's feeling all the shame, all like, how the fuck did I get here? What am I going to do now? I gave up my job. I gave up my money. I gave up my friends. I gave up my family. I've got these kids. I love my kids. I want nothing but the best for them. And I'm stuck with this. It's not just an asshole. You're stuck with a pathological person.
That's right.
So what's next? You have sat here and you're listening to Dr. Z. She has confirmed your fears. Get off the internet because they're tracking your shit anyway. Don't start Google, like delete your browsing history right now. They are listening, tracking, following, and putting it in their narc vault to use against you later.
Right.
So this was your plan all along. You've been planning to leave me forever.
Yes.
Whatever. They're going to flip the script no matter what. So we've got a bestie who's listening right now. They have made the awesome, amazing decision. They are leaving. What is next for their healing journey and their safety goals?
So first and foremost is your safety. Healing goals are off the table right now. Like just put it, we'll get there eventually, but that's not what's important. So when I work with someone on getting them out of the relationship, the first thing is safety. Very practical things. And I actually make them a list, right? So I have like a packet with like a list of things. Because keep in mind, narcissistic abusive relationships are the only types of relationships where you have to develop an actual exit strategy to get out so you stay safe. Okay. No other relationships are like that. So that's when someone's like, not everyone's a narcissist. Okay. Well, if you need to make an exit strategy to get out of the relationship because you can't have a normal conversation with them or even just an argument with them or just say F off and walk out and not worry about them coming after you or slandering you or whatever. It's the only breakup that has an exit strategy. So there's a couple things. One, do not ever tell them that you are planning on leaving them. Do not say a word to them. Because if you do, you risk them sucking you back in. You risk the chance for an increase in physical violence. You give them time to do a whole host of things to make leaving extremely difficult for you. So you never want to tell them your plan to leave. So there's practical things that you need to do. You must contact an attorney. Attorneys will usually give you a free consult. And this I say, especially if you're married and you have joint assets or you have children. Contact an attorney to know in your state what your rights are. If you leave the house and you take your kids with you, is it considered kidnapping? If you take your kids with you or you leave your kids and you get out of the house because you're scared something's going to happen, are you considered abandoning your kids? So there's these things you have to legally know first. You make an appointment with an attorney. All this time, you're not saying anything to the narcissist. You are, however you need to do this, you need to have money. Now, chances are, if you are with a narcissist, they have total financial control over you. You may be the sole breadwinner and they're sitting back doing nothing, but they have control over your money. So you need to, if you don't have access to your passwords, if you don't have access to your banking information, if the credit cards are unavailable to you, or if you are asking for an allowance and you really have no access to money, you have no idea what debt they'd have accrued in your name, because that happens all the time. People have no idea. They leave and then they realize that this person's now $400,000 in debt and it's all in their name. And so there's a lot of financial stuff. So get your finances in order. As much as you can, find out what you have, where it is, what the passwords are. If it's not safe for you to slowly withdraw some money over time and set it aside, then ask somebody to set aside money for you. Or, I mean, this is how tricky it gets. When you go to the market and you're going grocery shopping or you're going to the drugstore, buy something, but include those Amex gift card, those gift cards that have, prepaid cash on it, so that you have that, so that you can use that. There's creative ways to get that. Again, this is why this is not a normal breakup. You would never need to do this.
Yeah. I mean, hello, listen to that. But it's important.
You need to make sure that you have at least one person outside of the dynamic that you can talk to. And if you feel that you have no one and you're completely isolated, what I tell people is the people who are missing you a lot, and they are very nervous and scared. Reach out to the person, even if you haven't talked to them in a year. Reach out to them and tell them you need their help. You need a place to stay. Doesn't matter. because you're going to need somebody who is outside the chaos, who when you get sucked back in can pull you out of it. You need that objective person. So that's that. You want to have a bag of clothes, like toiletries, your passport, your social security card, like important documents, medical records, all that stuff, because I promise you, if you leave and you leave that stuff in the house, they're going to ruin it. So these are all the things that you want to ensure. Tell HR, tell your friends, tell your boss, whatever the case may be. So all of these things you need to prep ahead of time. And it's best to maybe have somebody with you when you do actually leave. If there is physical violence or you're scared that there's going to be physical violence, you can have the police come to your house while you're leaving. So all of these things are things that you need to think about. Under no circumstances should you think that when you leave, that's going to be the end of it. Because you leaving is the ultimate loss of control for the narcissist. They will smear your character. They are going to tell everybody you're crazy, you're a drug addict, you're abusive to your children. They'll call your work. There's a million different things that they'll try to do. Do not try to go after the character assassination that you're doing. Even though it's going to kill you, do not say, that's not true. Don't do it. You need to not respond to their rage messages that they're going to send. You need to not respond to the intermittent messages of, I'm so sorry, I'm going to change, I love you. You have to cut it off. So on average, people take about 7 times to leave these types of relationships. So if you leave and you go back, do not beat yourself up over it. It is not taking a step back. It is not a failure. It is a necessary, often necessary part of the process of leaving for good. So keep that in mind.
I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah.
I am so happy you said that, because we say to like anyone listening, there's no shame in staying, and there's no shame in leaving. There's no shame in staying for whatever reason, wherever you are, like, and a lot of it is financial control. If we break it down to like when they cut you off and you're facing homelessness.
That's right.
Not just like, I can't buy a new fucking Gucci bag. They want you. They would love nothing more than to have your co-parenting time at the homeless encampment. Nothing more. Because they don't give 2 shits.
That's right.
And they'd want the kids. They'd only want the kids so they could have more power and control over you.
Right, exactly. They don't want the kids. They want the kids, so they are torturing you for leaving them. Yeah.
It's so important for somebody to listen to this right now. Maybe it was even on your Instagram, but I just read this somewhere and my mind blew open. To the person who is co-parenting, right? In a healthy relationship, if you have a child with somebody and you break up, I witness this a lot. I have friends who have healthy, they're not barbecuing, but they have a healthy breakup and they're co-parenting their kids as best as they can.
Yes.
And there's minimal impact on the children.
Yes.
Your narcissist, your abusive partner, when they are denying you your basic needs to survive, like basic money, if you've been a stay-at-home mom and you're needing to rebuild your life, or basic child support, or basic like psychological abuse to you, is not in the best interest of the children whatsoever. No. They are taking like their one protective parent, the person that they rely on for all their emotional needs and their stability, and that other parent is destroying the mental calm and ability. That is a fucking abusive
I love
narcissist.
That you said this. I love that you said this because it is it's such a missed point. The family court system in general, which could be a whole other topic of conversation, but I'd be on here for 10 hours. But the family court system in the United States is not set up to protect women and mothers. I will say that again. The family court system in the United States is not set up to protect women and mothers. And I mean, yes, of course, there's cases where women win, and I get that. But there's an inherent flaw in the system. You could have in this case, we'll say a man. Yes, women are abusive too, but in this case, I'm going to say a man who is physically, sexually, emotionally, financially, legally abusive to their wife, to their ex-wife. But because they have never put their hands on the children, they are not considered abusive parents. The courts do not consider, but it's getting better. It's getting better because there's a lot of efforts to change this, but the courts do not consider coercive control and the damage that it does and the abuse to the mom as abuse to the child. So that's why I love what you said, because you abuse the mom, you absolutely indirectly are abusing the child. And you probably behind closed doors tell the child they're a piece of crap, they're going to amount to nothing, but the courts don't recognize that. And so then you have, this situation where the mom makes it comes off so angry and so, quote, crazy that she ends up looking like the unstable parents and oftentimes can lose her children. So it's such a mess in the family courts for this exact reason that you're talking about, because the way coercive control works is it's coercion, and they're very skilled at it. And you're right. I mean, you abuse a mom in front of the kids, or you speak so poorly to them. And if you don't leave that relationship, you're not protecting the kid. You're teaching the kid that it's okay to accept that behavior. It's also okay to give that behavior, and that's not true. So I mean, I love that you said that, because I think that it's missed a lot, that just because you're not directly abusing the child doesn't mean that you're not abusing the child, because you're doing it indirectly.
Well, and you hear these stories and you see these stories. I personally have been through this. It's like, and it didn't track. It wasn't making sense to me, because I will tell you from a personal experience, I was still trauma bonded to my ex. So then I was like that woman who was like being bit by the snake and running after the snake, asking you like, why'd you bite me? I had a lot, and it takes a long time. It's not like, even though you just left, I love at the beginning that you said this. Let's go back to that. When you leave, it does not mean the end of this.
Well, there's post-separation abuse, and that's oftentimes worse than the abuse you endured during, because the narcissist has lost control and you've exposed them.
So knowing that this is where you are, knowing that if you got to this point in this conversation that it's all clicking, you have checked all the yes boxes, and you don't even have to check more than 2 of these yes boxes to be like, this is what I'm in. We are giving you these resources. And Dr. Z, what is a tool that you could put in our bestie toolkit?
So the one is the checklist that I gave, those practical steps to leaving. The other thing that I want to give people to do while they're in it, to be able to start to recognize patterns a little bit better, is when they feel that overwhelming sense of emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, fear, whatever it is, I want them to take a 30-second kind of pause. That's it. Just pause and sit with it, because in that moment, it can give you some clarity. It's not going to change or do anything, but it's kind of the first step in gaining clarity to being able to recognize these patterns of behavior, because that's the next big step. It gives you a huge sense of empowerment when you can start to recognize the blueprint of narcissistic abuse. But the first step is kind of regulating yourself. So pause, sit with it. Don't do anything. Don't act on it. Don't do anything. Just sit with it.
I love that, because that 30 seconds is the difference between you responding to that shitty fucking text message about the way you parented the kid on Saturday.
And I'm going to give one more.
Yes.
Actually, because I think this is important, equally important. When they're doing their crap, instead of asking or responding to it on the surface, ask yourself, right at this moment, why are they doing this right now at this very moment?
Because you're gonna.
And that answer is what you respond or don't respond to.
And do you think it's important to, when you're in if you're in this relationship and you haven't come to the exit point yet, to just write down the moments that you're being, like, even if you don't understand what gaslighting is, and even if you don't know that you're being gaslit, but when they're altering reality or they're telling you you're crazy, if you start to writing these little things down, going back to your early statement, you're going to start seeing a pattern, I would imagine.
I have my clients write down a lot of things that start to happen as a way to challenge the gaslighting, because not only are they so confused, but they don't have anyone else to check in with because they're so isolated or they're so ashamed to talk about it. So they just kind of depend on the narcissist to define reality for them. But if they write it down, it's kind of like this access to support that they can control, and they can go back and read it, right? Especially if things are starting to disappear, their phones, their keys, whatever. Write stuff down. They said this on this date, and now they're telling you I never said that, but you go back and you see it. So it definitely is very helpful as a grounding technique. I don't want people to use it as a way to catch them in a lie and say, no, look, on this date you said this, because it's not about convincing them. It's solely just for you to understand that you are not crazy.
Because even if it's written in black and white, they'll
still deny. They'll still gaslight you.
Because they can't take ownership or accountability. Basic
they won't.
Shit. So
yeah,
that's where you stand.
It's not that they can't. They won't.
They won't. Okay. Thank you for saying that. They won't. They're capable, but they won't. Because this is where it's so mind fuckery, because they did it in the beginning. You could have gotten in a little bit of or had a little disagreement with them, and they did take accountability, or they did say they were wrong, or they did, and you were like,
faked it. They faked accountability. They don't. Yeah.
Okay. Shit.
Here's why they can, and here's why when people are like they don't know what they're doing. Here's why they do. Because if they couldn't control their anger and they can't control their abuse and they're not aware of what they're doing, why do they actively choose to only do it with certain people behind certain closed doors?
Thank you.
That's it.
That's all you need to know about that.
And there you have it.
It is not that fucking hard to break it down when you're outside of it. When you're on the other side, you could be like, duh. So I love that you said, go back to the person that you haven't talked to in a while, who was telling you for a long time to leave the relationship and you didn't. And then they just couldn't handle it anymore for whatever their reason. Sometimes people they're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep watching you suffer. That person is ready for you on the other end of the call and will help you.
Yes. They miss you. They know, right? They miss you. For those of you who are on the outside and you're watching your loved ones just in so much pain, and you've tried to convince them and they won't listen to you. Because I always say, here, my child's in this relationship or so-and-so's in this relationship. What do I do? My response is always the same. Stop convincing them. You're going to push them further away. Just let them know, I love you. I'm here for you for whatever you need. That's it. Because that's the person they're going to need and they're going to go to. So the best thing you can do, as much as it kills you, is just let them know you're there for them. Don't try to convince them they're in an unhealthy relationship, because at some point they're going to need you and you don't want to shut them off. You don't want them to shut you off because they're so embarrassed and so ashamed.
Such great advice. I love that it is. You feel shame. You feel like, I can't believe I allowed myself to get here. And it's okay to feel that way. Feel all those things. Go through those motions and understand that.
It would be weird if you didn't.
Right. You'd have a problem. There'd be something wrong with you if you were Here you are, and you're going to be able to pick yourself back up. You're going to be able to get through this. And you do have people who love you. There are people waiting on the other side for you. There are so many more resources. So Dr. Z, where can our besties find you?
I'm on Instagram, Dr. Z Psychologist, and I post a ton of stuff about this. My website is drjamiezuckerman.com for narcissistic abuse coaching that I do all over the country. For regular anxiety therapy, depression, that kind of stuff, the website is zgrouptherapy.com. And you can find me there. My podcast is Next Up Narcissism, and TikTok, Dr. Jamie Zuckerman.
Amazing. You are our new bestie. And so I want to invite you into, I invite you into our club. There's no initiation fee. We don't really hold meetings, but we have a group of baddies that I call the BFFs, and they're the bitches fighting for freedom. So I would love for you to join.
Do I get a shirt?
We have the Bitches Fighting for Freedom. I'm a MILF. I'm a mother in litigation forever. And you bet your ass I walk around town with this.
I saw the hat. I saw the hat. I was like, I love her. But now you told me what it meant.
Yeah, I will.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I need one.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not in litigation, but I just want to wear it.
Yeah. It starts a lot of conversations. And I sell them in our shop so we can just band together. And I'm trying to grow a MILF mafia.
I am going to sell the crap out of those hats for you.
Oh my gosh. Well, and you're in Philly. You're like, so I'm like, hashtag the MILF mafia.
That is the most creative, amazing thing I've ever seen.
Well, it's, turning your pain into purpose, right? Just figuring it out. And if you're not laughing, you're fucking crying. So I just put these things together and, yeah, they're, so we've got some BFFs, we got some MILFs, we got some LFGs. What else? We've got a few.
I got to check this out.
Oh my gosh. See, it's okay. Like the guys, there's laughter on the other side. There's light. There's this.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
yes, you'll get through it.
You will. You'll get to the other side. I promise you. You're amazing. I cannot wait to have you back. And we will continue this conversation. We'll talk about litigation abuse. We can talk about more in depth, of course, of control. And yeah, what a freaking amazing. I drop my episodes on Tuesday so I can say see you next Tuesday because my ex loves to call me a cunt. That's his favorite thing to ever say. So I'm always like, okay, see you next Tuesday, bitches. Like,
I mean, these are better strategies than I gave.
oh, I'm like owning it. Like, okay, big cunt energy. Perfect. Like, sure, go. I'm whatever. Like,
see you next Tuesday.
We'll do some fun collabs on Instagram using all of these.
I would love to. Because this is great. Like, this is what's needed. This is what's needed. It brings humor to such a sick, dark topic. So it's just not all gloom and doom. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. It is. You got to do it. I love it. So we'll continue to collab. We'll continue to talk. I'm going to bump this episode to drop it early.
Great.
And we love you. Thank you for joining our bestie gang.
Thank you.
And sharing all of your insight. We can't wait to find you on Instagram. And listen, we always say this to everyone listening. There is no safety in staying silent. So get fucking loud. Get loud for your sisters, your mothers, your friends, yourself. Just fucking get loud. And as scary as it is, the more we talk about it, the more we remove the stigma, the more we take the shame away. And you'll see that you're not a party of one. You've just been in a silo. And when you come out, there is a whole band of bitches waiting for you. So we love you.
Been in, someone said this, and I don't remember what psychologist said this, so I'm not taking credit for this, and I will remember, but somebody called it I don't know if it was Dr. Romney. I'm not sure. Somebody said a cult of one.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
Isn't that good?
That is so good.
Cult of one.
Yes.
Yep.
Damn. Okay. Well, we've got some more merch to make.
So good.
It is cult party of one. Oh, that's what I'm gonna that's my new reservation name. I'll just say COLT. I'll just be like, I'm cult. Party of one.
Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good.
Thank you, Dr. Z, for joining us on this episode of Bitch is a Bad Word. We will see you next Tuesday, besties. Bitches being bad.